Swans are the symbol of grace, harmony, responsibility. The power of the swan also includes the concepts of balance, inner beauty, innocence, dignity, self-respect. The real question is, what does a swan spirit animal mean and symbolize for you? Swan represents the power of understanding the dream symbols, awareness of spiritual evolution, development of intuitive ability, divination, compassion in dealing with others, and finally, commitment to one's worth. In the middle of all this symbolism, you will be the person to interpret the messages of your spirit animal swan. That's why it's a relationship you create with your spirit animal, and this relationship is a journey. Beautiful bird of the Scottish lake, with plumage pure as the white snowflake, with a neck of pride and a wing of grace, and lofty air as of royal race. Beautiful bird, may you long abide, and grace Loch Oich in your lonely pride. The Swan of Loch Oich, Eliza Gooken Thornton. We all love the beauty of the swan. When we look at one, it soothes our hearts. But what does a spirit animal swan mean? Well, swans have unique characteristics and unimaginable abilities. A swan spirit animal is your spiritual guide in life. She brings valuable messages to you. Swans have different meanings and symbolism, which I have discussed throughout the video. A swan spirit animal represents some unique meanings. When I talk about swans, I refer to different swans such as black, blue, white, etc. These different elegant birds can have different meanings. A black swan spirit animal often means the ability to do the impossible. In ancient times, people believed black swans were fiction and did not exist in reality. But later, they were found in Australia. So people today use black swan as a proverb meaning the occurrence of unexpected events. However, the opposite of black is white. And a spirit animal, white swan means spiritual innocence, purity, and light due to her shining appearance. Though we have found the black swan, we are yet to identify a blue swan, but they are often mentioned as spirit animals. Blue swan spirit animal meanings often refer to the following one's intuition. However, whooper swans are the most common type of swans we see. They mate for life and often live in groups. A whooper swan, spirit animal, means to love your partner for life. It also means spending more time with family. Swans can fly too. The spirit animal flying swan means enjoying freedom. Many Native American tribes revere the swan spirit. The Ottawa tribe believes the meaning of an Indian spirit animal swan is to live in harmony. This meaning comes from the fact that swans live peacefully in groups. Bevy or wedge are common names for such group of swans. Swans usually possess a very gentle personality, but they also can be very aggressive when protecting their child. One of the best personalities of swans is that they mate for life. They find a partner at an early age and remain together for the rest of their life. Divorce or breakup is not uncommon among swans. When swans swim in the water, their feathers do not get wet. Hence, Hindu people believe that they stay in the world but do not get attached to it. Swan spirit animals also possess the quality to discriminate between the eternal and the transient. The swan has some rich symbolism. Different cultures and mythologies represent swans in their unique ways. I have tried to explain all the symbolic meanings of a swan in this video. Because of its grace and beauty, the swan is associated with love, poetry, and music, and is the animal considered sacred by Venus, the goddess of love. In ancient Greek works, the swan is depicted singing to the accompaniment of the lyre. In the Celtic tradition, it symbolizes the spirit, our essence reaching eternity. Irish poets were both poets and musicians and wore cloaks made of swan feathers. The most well-known Irish fairy tale, The Lyre Children, tells about children who have turned into swans. Those swan children sing so beautifully that those who listen to them get rid of their troubles and worries and sleep peacefully. Some of the common symbols of a swan are beauty, grace, elegance, love, loyalty, harmony, partnership, spiritual elevation, unity, and inner beauty. The Swan Lake Ballet is one of the most popular classical ballets. Here are the two lead roles. A white swan represents good and a black swan represents evil. In Nordic mythology, the swans represents purity. Two swans drank from the sacred well of Urd in Asgard. Legend says that the water of this well is so pure that anyone touching it turns white, including the wings of the swans. Their pure white appearance, especially the wings, often remind us of angels. Many consider them reminiscent of angels and the messenger of God. Angels do have wings in pop culture. They are quite similar to the ones of swans. Though we cannot call a swan an angel, they both convey divine messages as spiritual beings. Swan occult meaning refers to mystery and enigma. While the white swan spreads the light of divinity, the black swan absorbs the light. The meanings have arisen from the sense that white represents positivity and black represents the opposite. Swans have wide usage in literature. Usually, they symbolize beauty, innocence, and transformation. The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen is one of the most popular fairy tales about swans. If you are interested in swan spirit animals, then I recommend you read this book. The story in short: a duckling was bullied as an ugly bird by his siblings after birth. The duckling left the house with a sad heart and took shelter in an older man's home. But there too, the older man's pet cat and a hen used to make fun of him. So he left that house too and lived his life in misery and sadness. One day, he saw some wild swans swimming in the water. He decided that he cannot live like this anymore, and he will join the swans even if they kill him. To his amazement, the swans welcomed him well. When he looked into the water, the swan saw that he had turned into a beautiful swan. It's not just the deception of the first impressions that's trying to be explained. It is a wisdom that true beauty grows and develops from within. The swan symbolizes sacred devotion and unconditional love. Many refer to the swan song as a song of happiness. Swans sing before death because they are happy that they are departing this temporary world and finally going to the God they serve. Swans symbolize shape-shifting ability in Native American cultures. Mention of the widely used mythical creature Swan Maiden, who can change shape from human to a swan, is also found in some Native American tales. A tale mentions a beautiful-looking red swan. She got an attraction from a warrior. Later in the tale, the warrior goes on a quest to find the red swan. Here, the swan also symbolizes passion. We often come across shamans who turn into swans in the transformation stories of Mayan legends. In shamanic belief, the swan's large wings gather and present celestial information. Its snow-like feathers symbolize cosmic innocence and magnificence. Their long and graceful necks serve as a bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary. It is the bridge that carries wisdom between bodily and spiritual existence. In the ancient Roman, black swans were considered to be an animal that does not exist. Hence, the phrase black swan symbolizes something that could exist in theory but not in reality. After the discovery of the black, it represents unexpected events that come out surprisingly. Besides, many cultures use black swans as a representative of evil forces or negativity. That's because of his dark and black color. The swan is wide. The crane is wide. What is the difference between the swan and the crane? During discriminating between water and milk, the swan is a swan, while the crane is a crane. It is a translation of the Sanskrit verse from the Vedic text originated from ancient India. Hindu goddess of knowledge Saraswati writes white swan as the swan symbolizes prudence and the ability to discriminate between good and bad. There is a legend that if you give swans a mixture of milk and water, they can drink the milk only, as the verse that I have just explains this belief. Hindus revere swans for their abilities and connection to the goddess. Seeing a white swan may refer to the divine messages it conveys. It may be trying to tell you that you are beautiful both internally and externally, or it may also tell you stay loyal to your partner. If you see a swan flying, it can mean the evolution of your spiritual self. Swans do not only look gorgeous from the outside, but also have inner excellence. However, if a swan comes to you flying, it may also mean that he has some important messages to deliver. Maybe he is your spirit animal. You should try to communicate with your spirit animal through a shamanic journey or a deep meditation to decode the message. A swan necklace means love, purity, grace, beauty, and trust. Swan symbolisms are also associated with inner beauty and self-love. People often wear a swan necklace as a means of elegance. She who represents beauty knows how to love. She who symbolizes harmony is a white swan. Swans live in harmony with others. Their partnership is something that people adore. Famous writer Jackie Cantoni quotes, "Remember, you too are a beautiful swan." A spirit animal swan often acts as a reminder that you have a beautiful heart. The spiritual meaning of a swan refers to its unique ability to guide us. When a spirit animal swan appears to you, it will teach you certain things like looking at yourself and finding the beauty within you. It can elevate your spiritual self for a superior life. The swan comes to teach us that there is an inner grace and beauty deep within all of us. Self-confidence and self-esteem guide our deficiencies. As we become aware of our true beauty, we build bridges to new realities and improve our ability to gain new powers. With the guidance of the swan, we'll learn to feel the inner beauty of our physical and spiritual self, to trust ourselves, to be grateful for our physical and spiritual existence. In the shamanic sense, grace is not just about living in harmonious life. It is to feel the same comfort, freedom, and peace in both the ordinary and the extraordinary world. To be aware that we have much more than our outer appearances, to be aware of the whole of our material and spiritual existence. When we cannot see the beauty that lies deep in others, also the swan appears. It marks the time to transform into a different consciousness, to develop intuitive skills. Spatial healing enters our lives. Clinging to life, awareness of life deepens. This awareness, what is meant by letting go, is the deep, intuitive, peaceful mood, the ability to glide through life. As we hear our inner voice better, the voice of the swan, whose guidance becomes stronger, becomes clearer, and begins to whisper its songs more often. With these songs, our inner child awakens. In other words, our inner beauty, innocence, and consciousness arise. Our power to predict the future increases. While migrating, the wing beats of the swans flying very high with the V formation are at a slow but very regular pace. The endurance that allows them to reach their distant targets without getting tired is in this wing beat rhythm. The swan as a powerful animal will guide us by this example when we are after something. Many believe that the spiritual meaning of a black swan is that an evil force lives within you. You may think that you cannot get rid of it, but you do. Like the black swan phrase, meaning in the happening of the unexpected. You also may not expect, but capable of an evil force that harms your spiritual growth. After hearing about all the symbols and meanings, I guess you have gathered a vast knowledge of the swan spirit animal. But what does it mean if your spirit animal is a swan? How can it help you to lead a better life? I hope you have gone on a shamanic journey or did a deep meditation to know that a swan is your spirit animal. A spirit animal swan will tell you that no matter what you or your surroundings think, you are beautiful. Look closely into the mirror. Like the ugly duckling looked at the water, you will find the beauty that lies in you. A swan spirit animal may also tell you to love your partner and stay loyal to him or her. When two swans live together, they often share responsibility. You should do that too with your partner. The swan glides gracefully through the water, leaving no ripples behind. It represents gliding with the same grace in the currents of life with the natural beauty it displays without effort and flowing without struggling against the waves. Also, like other waterfall, it does not completely submerge while feeding. It simply submerges its head and long neck as if skimming the water. Water is associated with feminine intuitions and emotions. It teaches that if we catch what we feel without getting caught in emotional waves, those feelings will lead us to the right thoughts and decisions. It offers wonderful guidance that shows we can only discern our intuition in silence. Swans choose their mates to be lifelong companions, forming devoted couples. For people who have trouble keeping their oaths of allegiance or promises made in other areas, Swan guidance will teach them to make and maintain their choices with love. The Swan comes to teach us that it is personal consistency, virtue, and even honor to give the things we commit to the importance they deserve. Welcome to the world of spirit animals. Spirit animals are the vehicles to connect us with the One, with our divine self. As in all areas of spiritual practices, it is not about theory but practice. Share your time with your spirit animal. Create a relationship and prioritize this amazing journey. I hope this video would help you to do so. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, do not forget to click the like button. And if you would like to learn more about rituals, creating your sacred space, and the journey of being you, do not forget to subscribe to our channel. As always, have a great day and see you around.